Hey guys, so this started as looking through Elizabeth Buckley's recipes, and she's talking about rosemary and how good it is for everything. And at one point she says, especially the conserve of rosemary being good for the brain, etc. So this got me thinking about how interesting that would be to make a conserve out of an herb. So I have this gigantic rosemary bush, and I'm gonna go ahead and clip off a bunch of stalks here, and then we'll move inside. So the first thing you probably need to be aware of when you're doing something like this is to take note where the ant piles are, so you don't get destroyed like I just did. All right, well, got my rosemary. My feet are destroyed. Good times. So, the conserve requiring rosemary didn't require anything else. So, I thought it was strange because conserve usually needs pectin, which helps it congeal, which is normally found in like citrus fruits and whatnot. But this didn't say anything about that at all. So, instead of buying pectin to store, because they wouldn't have done that, I'm just going to basically make a rosemary water, and then like making a rose water, and then add my sugar and some water and make like a little rosemary jelly. That's a little boring. So I'm also going to make, because of the season, a grapefruit cranberry conserve, but I'm going to add rosemary water to it. And that way we have our pectin from both. It should be more of a traditional conserve because it actually has the fruit in it as well. And because I like to go overboard, I'm also going to do a strawberry lemon conserve. So kind of some sweet tangy with the kind of that sharp flavor from the rosemary. So I'm gonna go ahead and start prepping this. Okay, so now I've washed my rosemary, shook it out, get all the bugs and the dirt out, and then I stripped the needles off because I figured that the woody branches would make it a little too astringent. So I've put in my water here. I'm just gonna let this go for a while and reduce down and get some, really I'll just keep tasting and smelling until it gets a good flavor and aroma. I'm doing like 3 jars, so one for each of these recipes. So I started off with 12 cups of water to about 6 cups of rosemary leaves. So about 2 to 1 is a good ratio for making the conserve anyway, so I just figured we'll go with that. And if there's a little bit extra, I'll be fine with that because I'll use it for marinating, which would be nice. So we'll see how it goes. So now I've juiced my grapefruit from the save, and then I've taken the peels, part of the pith, and kind of just cubed them and diced them up. Not tiny, but I'm gonna blanch them to lose some of their bitterness before adding into the conserve, and then I'm gonna do the same with the lemon. All right, smelling really good in here. This rosemary water is getting pretty dark, which is good. I'm gonna keep letting that reduce for a while. I've got my peels blanching. Now I'm gonna get my cranberries going because they should take a minute. So I've rinsed some. All right, and I'm gonna add that grapefruit juice. I got 1 cup of sugar. Oop, should probably keep my camera on the product. All right, and then I'm gonna do a cup of water. Stir this up and then let it simmer for, I don't know, a good hour and a half at least, so those cranberries get nice and cooked, and then we'll move on from there. So the reason I'm using the cranberries too is because I've kind of built these recipes out of my own knowledge, but mixed with 2 older recipes for making conserves of barberries. One from Nicholas Webster from the mid 17th century, and then one from an anonymous cookbook from the early 18th. Both have recipes about conserving barberries. But so I'm going to use cranberries, and like I said earlier, it is kind of seasonal. But while these take a while to cook, I am also going to macerate a bunch of strawberries and have them ready to go. They're not going to take near as long to stew down in order to make the lemon and strawberry one. So I'm just going to let this go for a couple hours so this reduces further and gets a lot more flavor in the water and the cranberries as well. All right, it's been a while now, like an hour and a half. Cranberries and grapefruit mix has reduced quite nicely, getting really thick, as has my rosemary water as well, which is smelling very good. So now I'm going to go ahead and start my strawberries. I'm going to add that. A cup of sugar. And I'm going to go not quite a cup of water, because this isn't going to need to reduce as much as the cranberries. So what I am going to do is add about a half cup of the rosemary water, which you can see is very brown. The reason I'm doing it this way too is because I don't think that the needles from the rosemary would be very nice to eat. So this will at least get some flavor. Go ahead. I'll get this going, and then once that reduces a little bit, I will cook down, stew that up, and then I will finish with my grapefruit and cranberry as well. Okay, so here I've added my rosemary water, which is getting a little low now, which is perfect because I've already added some to my strawberry, and then I'm going to add about another cup to my cranberry, and it looks about, my guesswork was about right on starting with 12 cups and letting it reduce. But anyway, I've done a 1-to-1 of sugar and the rosemary water, so basically this will just become like a syrup rather than a conserve after it reduces down and emulsifies. So it seems to me that that's more like what a rosemary conserve might be anyway, but I don't know, we'll see how it turns out. Alright, so now to finish up the cranberry, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my grapefruit that I had added, or blanched rather, add that in. I'm going to add in another 1-to-1 of sugar, and I'll add the rosemary water. And we're going to let this cook down for a little while too until everything's a nice good consistency. Okay, so now we got everything going. This is the rosemary water syrup. I've got my lemon juice and the blanched peels. We're reducing here with the rosemary water, strawberries, macerated sugar, and my the cranberry grapefruit, and with steam. That also has rosemary water, so I'm going to let that go a little bit more until everything, grapefruit peels just soften up a little bit, and then wait till everything cools, and we'll be good to go. Alright, so I've had everything reduced down for a while. So at this point, the consistency looks really good. So I'm just going to go ahead and kill the heat on these and just let them sit here and gradually cool for maybe an hour or so. And then I'll put them in some jars and then chill them, and then hopefully we'll be set.